Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Georgia. I hope you're well. Welcome to our first reading vlog of February. Today we are just going to begin mood reading a bunch of romance books. It is February, it is the month of Valentine's Day. I was literally halfway through filming my February TBR when I realised that it was like Valentine's Day and I had all these romance books on my TBR and we're like, do you know what? We're going to throw February's schedule out the window and we're just going to mood read some romance books. So that is exactly what we're going to do today. So I have actually started our first book that I'm going to be reading with you guys, and that is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I haven't chosen my other reads. I'm just going to finish this one and then see how I'm feeling. If there's one on my TBR that I want to start, I'll start that. If not, I mean, I have 3 full bookshelves of romance, so I'm sure we'll find something I'm in the mood for. I have chosen our first one, like I've said. I am about 40%, shall I say, through this book, and I am really enjoying this one so far. So Clementine is having a bit of a rough time towards the beginning of this book. We kind of follow her and her sort of like dealing with the grief of her auntie. So her and her auntie were really close. They used to go travelling every year. They spend a lot of time together. And her auntie unfortunately passes away. We're following Clementine sort of like navigating all this grief that she's experiencing. There's a story that her aunt used to tell her when she was younger about this apartment that her aunt owns was actually magic and had the ability to take you 7 years into the past. We're following Clementine as she's dealing with this grief, and one day she comes home and there is this man in her house. Like, the house is all changed, all the old furniture is there as if her aunt was still alive, and he is there with his bags like, your aunt sent me a letter. She said I could stay here if I was ever in the area while she was away. For Clementine, there's a strange man in her house, but equally, she's got this element of her aunt back, somebody else who knows her, and in his time scale, in his time frame, her aunt would still be alive. She wants to feel as though her aunt's still alive, so she sort of plays along with his timeline and talks as if she's still here, and they sort of bond and get to know each other, and it's just a really sweet romance. I'm really enjoying it so far. But just to read you the back for a better explanation than the one I've just given you, 6 months ago, Clementine West had the worst day of her life, so she came up with a plan to keep her heart safe, stay busy, work hard, and take no risks. And it's been working. That's until one day she finds a strange man standing in her kitchen, a man with kind eyes, a crooked smile, and a recipe for the perfect lemon meringue pie. The kind of man that before everything she could have fallen for. He's perfect, but for one thing, he lives in the past, 7 years ago to be exact. This should be impossible, but Clementine used to love impossible things, and maybe, just maybe, she will again. So I'm really enjoying it so far, seeing her sort of like go to work, go about day-to-day life, to then come home and bond with this guy that like shouldn't be there but is always in the apartment. He's a chef, he cooks this most amazing food, and it's just been a really interesting sort of experience and a really interesting read. I've not really read anything like that before, so I'm really enjoying that sort of setup. I'm going to continue on with this one. Like I say, I'm about 40%, so I'm on chapter 20 and I am really enjoying this so far. It's a really interesting concept and I can't wait to continue on with the story and figure out more about what's going on here. So I guess I'll just come back to you when I have finished this one. I am doing a bit of a mix between audioing and physically reading this book. I am really enjoying doing a mix of both. I'm gonna get straight back into this one and I will see you when I next have a bit of an update. But so far, really enjoying this one. This morning I finished The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Now, I loved this book. I love this book so much. This book really caught me off guard. I know I gave you a bit of a check-in earlier. I think I was around 50% mark when I last checked in with you guys, and this book just gets so much better. Like the twists and turns, the developments, the like connections with all of our characters as we go is all just so fun and interesting, and like I didn't actually see a lot of the twists coming either. It was pretty obvious where the ending was going to go, but it happened in such a sweet way, and the sort of like little extras that were in there as well just really made this book and this story. One thing I did want to mention is this book is set in New York, and I went to New York last year, and one of the places that she talked about a lot was Bryant Park, and it was just really fun to be able to like picture what she was doing and see all the places that she was talking about, and I really enjoyed that. It just took me back to my trip to New York with my partner and his family, and it was just incredible. So I really liked being able to be like, oh, I've seen that. Oh, I've seen that as well. So those sort of little bits like that made me really happy, because it was just like a little trip down memory lane. I absolutely loved this one. What a brilliant start to this video. This was such a nice, fun, easy read. I say fun and easy. There are some difficult topics covered in this book that I didn't actually see coming. I didn't see any sort of like trigger warnings for it or anything either. But there is definitely some strong sort of mental health representation in here. Like, I literally, there is no warning for it. There's no trigger warnings or anything like that, but just something to be aware of. There are some difficult topics covered and talked about in this book that, like, I literally sat there like, oh my god, oh right, okay. Like, that took a very dark turn regarding sort of like family members and things. All in all, I loved this. I really want to rate this 5 stars, but I just don't feel like it gave me the 5-star feeling. So I'm going to settle on a 4.5. It was just such a lovely story, so deep, and just the creativity in behind this story as well, I just thought was so interesting. I've never really read a book where we're sort of following one person, but then for another person it's sort of like 2 timelines. It was so interesting, and I definitely want to read some more by this author. This is the only book of hers I own, so I will definitely be purchasing some more of her reads. I now need to choose what I want to read next, and I do actually have an arc that I'd really like to read, and that is Plain Defence by Clara St. James. This is book 2 in the Breakaway series. I haven't actually read book 1 yet, I'll be honest, but I am just going to jump into book 2. I think they're sort of like interconnected standalones, so that should be okay. Just to read you the back, 2 POVs. So we've got Jackson Anderson. He's always been the responsible one, the reliable one, the guy who doesn't screw up until her. Maya is his sister's best friend, and the one woman he should never touch. She's wild, unpredictable, and exactly what he never knew he needed. Now he's lying to his own family just to keep her close. And then we have Maya's perspective. She's drowning and has been for months. Falling into bed with Jackson wasn't smart, but it was the best decision she ever made. He's steady where she's messy, quiet where she's loud. What started as an arrangement to help her heal turned serious fast. And now she's hiding the one good thing in her life from the person who's always been her safe place. Falling for each other was never part of the plan, but neither was Plain Defence with their hearts on the line. I think that one sounds so much fun and so interesting. I do think this one is quite a strong sort of mental health representation one. I think our main female character has a lot of like quite dark mental health issues and a quite traumatic experience that we're sort of dealing with. I don't think there's any sort of hints to her traumatic experience in book 1. I think book 1 is very much following Emma and Chase and a completely separate story. I will be going back and reading book 1 once I've read this one anyway. So I'm going to read this book first and then go back and read book 1 after. So I think I'm going to read this one next. It's an ice hockey romance. She's a nurse, he's an ice hockey captain, or he's one of the ice hockey teams. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that sort of mesh and the friendship groups and the drama with the sister. So I think I'm going to jump into this one next. It is on my Kindle, so I'm going to go and get cozy with my Kindle and start this one. So I will see you when I've got some updates regarding Plain Defence. So I am back with a very big update for you guys. So I last spoke to you when I finished The 7-Year Slip. I have now finished one book and read like 80% of another. It turns out I suck at this, and I'm just in such like a binge reading phase at the minute. Literally all I want to do is sit down and read start to finish. I don't want to be interrupted, I don't want to talk to anybody. I literally just want to read. And that's basically what I've done. So I'm just kind of going to check in now to give you an update on book 2 and book 3 that I have read, and then we will read a 4th book together after that, because I've been really rubbish, but I really want to talk about these books because they are romancy books, and they're romancy books I really enjoyed. So let's talk about them. I started, as I said I would, and also finished Plain Defence by Clara St. James. Now this is book 2 in the Breakaway series. I haven't read book 1, but I plan to now. They are interconnected standalones, but we see a hell of a lot of the characters from book 1 in this book, so I would definitely recommend reading them in order. But I think it will be quite nice now to go back and read how the characters from book 1 get together in this one. I think that will be quite nice. So I'm really looking forward to that. I actually have ordered them both, like the physical copies of both, and they should be arriving today, but not until like later on this afternoon. But book 1 is definitely going straight on my cart to be read soon because I really want to read that one. So book 1 follows Emma and Chase, and book 2 follows Emma's brother Jackson and Emma's best friend Maya. But this book has a lot of conversation about trauma There's just a lot of trigger warnings. I would 100% read your trigger warnings before going into this series because this book is so heavy. Like the first 30% of this book was actually really hard to read. It was heartbreaking. This book literally tears you apart and puts you back together again. It is heartbreaking. We've basically followed Maya as she experiences one of the most traumatic experiences of her life and how she sort of deals with that and is sort of trying to build herself back up after that. So Emma lives with her partner Chase, and Jackson is also living there at the moment as well, and she basically arrives at this house broken, unsure of how to go on. She has had some horrible things happen at work regarding sort of patients. She's a paediatric nurse, but she also goes to somebody like her line manager sort of, I can't remember what their official sort of title is, but she goes to them for support and doesn't get that, and they just sort of make this whole thing so much worse. This follows sort of like the aftermath of all these really traumatic experiences that Maya has had and how she's sort of trying to deal with this. But I really enjoyed this one. Like I say, it was very, very difficult to read for the first 30%, but then she sort of turns to Jackson for some support, and it's them sort of putting Maya back together and how that all sort of goes. I really, really enjoyed this one. I have rated this a 4.5. I loved it, but I would 100% read your trigger warnings for this one before you pick it up. I really, really enjoyed this one. I can't wait to read more. I think this is going to actually be a 5-book series as well. I was looking on her Instagram page and she's got like quite a few series sort of set up. This one is going to be a 4-book series. She's also got what looks to be like a bit of a country romance coming up, and then maybe some more sport ones. She's got a dark romance duet planned. I think that's going to be really, really fun. From what I can see, she's got some really good things coming, and I can't wait to see that. I think we've been hinted at the end of this one who book 3 is going to be about, so I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. All in all, an amazing book, and I can't wait to pick up book 1 of that series. I feel like I've massively spoiled it for myself, but I think it'll still be nice to go back and sort of like see how they got to where they are now. I really, really love that book. I'm really sorry I don't have any check-ins, but I just got so invested in the story and so invested in like the trauma and the healing, and I just wanted to sit and binge it, and that is literally what I did. The other book I've been reading is Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver. This is book 3 in the Ruinous Love trilogy, and I am this close to the end, and I'm also loving this one. I just wanted something a little bit, it's going to be weird saying this, but I wanted something a little bit lighter, and these are sort of like dark romance, but romance comedies, if that makes any sense. So I really, really love this series. I read Leather and Lock in January, and I really wanted to just get this one read because I love the story. I love the sort of hints we've had of this book through book 1 and book 2. So I was really looking forward to picking this one up, and it has not disappointed so far. I'm really liking the sort of timeline for this one, because the timeline for this is sort of all of book 1, all of book 2, and now we're picking up, like where I am now is the sort of like traumatic ending that happened at the end of book 2, but from Fionn and Rose's perspective. So this follows the third brother. I have been audioing this series for the most part and sort of like immersive reading them. I think the audiobooks are incredible. So the audiobooks are the immersive ones. It's direct narration. You get a lot of sort of like background noise for a lot of different things. So like when there's big fight scenes, you can hear the sort of drama in the background. When there's the spicy scenes, you can hear all of that going on in the background. The audios for these books are incredible, and I cannot recommend them enough. If you have an Audible subscription, I highly recommend audioing these ones if you've got them, because they're incredible. Like James is now audioing these books because he's also like, okay, the audio for these are great. I'm really loving this one. Like I say, so it's following the third brother, Fionn and Rose. And so Fionn's a doctor and Rose is a performer and has spent a decade on the road with Silveria, which is like the circus that she's a part of. And basically what happens in this one is it is snowing so hard, like all of a sudden. That is insane. Where has that come from? It was literally not even trying a minute ago, and now we've got like snow. I am not complaining. So if you've read any of these books, they are sort of like serial killer romances. So Rose has this mission to basically put down all the horrible, abusive men that are like abusive with their wives and their children and things like that, and she is on a mission to take them out. So she's actually a fortune teller at the circus, and she's also the one that does the bike stuff in the cage. But basically she ends up with an injury to her leg that kind of stops her from being able to be part of the circus, and she ends up basically in Fionn's clinic trying to fix her leg when he finds her. And then we follow them through book 1 and book 2 and the happenings in those books, so seeing the characters and seeing bits of our parents from book 1 and book 2 and the dramas that happen in those happening from Fionn and Rose's perspective. I didn't really sort of pick up while I was reading book 1 and book 2 about Fionn and Rose, I guess. So then seeing that, obviously at the end of book 2 you do, if you've read book 2 you know, but then seeing all of that unfold through this book has just been so good. And like The way that Bryn Weaver's sort of like intertwined all of these books has just been so clever, and I'm so impressed by it. I'm loving this one so far. I do want to sit and finish this book today, so we will definitely be doing that next, and then we will pick our fourth and final book. So I think we should read this one, and then I'm going to choose my fourth book. I think I know what I'm going to pick. I think I sort of decided at the beginning of this what the 3 books I was going to read were. This is just a bonus. That is Alexa telling me when my copy of my new books is going to arrive, which I'm very happy about. Let's sit and finish Scythe and Sparrow. So I have just finished reading Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver, and do you know what? I really enjoyed this book. I really love this series as a whole. I think it's such a fun, sort of like different idea. I've not read anything else like this. I all in all really enjoyed this one. I think it was a really fun concept. I liked the sort of like multiple timeline situation we had going on. I liked that it overlapped with the other books. The ending wasn't as sort of like extreme as I was expecting to be, but I guess the ending of this was also the ending to book 2, so we've already had majority of the drama. It was just sort of the aftermath of that for Fionn. I'm going to rate this one 5 stars. I don't think this is my favourite, and I only rated book 2 4, but all in all this is a 5-star series for me. Book 1 was probably my favourite. This is a 5-star series for me. I'm probably going to higher my rating for Leather and Lark to 5, and then also put this one in the 5-star camp because I just love this series so much. I just love it so much. I'm going to settle on a 5-star. Love Theon and Rose's story. I loved the audio, like I said previously. I do recommend audio in these if you have Audible. If you don't get it, read them. It's so worth it. It's just so worth it. I love them so much. So that's that. So that is my 3rd book for this video that I, again, really enjoyed. It's been so good. I've had a 4.5, a 4.5 and a 5, so I'm really hoping to continue this on. But I just quickly wanted to show you my copy of Plain Defence because I have had them both delivered. This is book 1. This is Check and Chase by Clara St. James. This is book 1 in the Breakaway series, and then this is book 2, which is the one that I've just read. So this one will be going immediately on my TBR cart because obviously it's continuing a series I'm in the middle of. And then we also have book 2, which is Plain Defence. So these are going to go on my sport romance shelf. I'm thinking probably here. But they're my copies of this series. I'm really excited to read book 1. I do think the final book that I'm going to jump into for this video is Game Changer by Rachel Reed. So this is book 1 in the Game Changer series. This is the heated rivalry hype that has been doing the rounds at the moment, and I really want to be part of the hype. I want to understand it, I want to be with it, I want to know what's going on, and I really want to watch the series. So if you know how far I need to read to then be able to watch it, that would be great. I want to say it's the first 2 books, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm hoping that somebody will tell me. I'm going to read book 1 and 2, and if nobody's told me by the end of that, I'm just going to watch it, and if I start not understanding things, I will pause it and get back to reading them. It's basically going to be my tactic for this, but I am also going to ask over on my other socials as well because I just need to know. I need to know what the crack is with this. So if you've not heard about this series, the Game Changer series, so far there's 6 books. I think they're writing a 7th as well, and this is a ice hockey romance. So this is book 1. I do want to jump straight in and give this a go. So this one follows our main characters Scott and Kip. New York Admirals captain Scott Hunter takes his pre-game ritual very seriously. When a particular smoothie precedes Scott's breaking his on-ice slump, he's desperate to recreate the magic and to get to know the sexy funny guy behind the counter. Kip Grady knew there was more to Scott's frequent visits than blended fruit, but he never let himself imagine being invited back to Scott's penthouse, or kissed with reckless abandon and more. What goes on between them is hot, incredible and frequent, but also only on Scott's terms, and always behind his closed apartment door. Scott needs Kip in his life, but with playoff seasons approaching and the spotlight on him suddenly brighter than ever, he can't afford to do anything that might derail his career or the public image of what the hockey captain should be. Kip is ready to go all in with Scott, but how much longer will he remain a secret? So I'm really intrigued by this one. I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. I have heard that this one is extremely spicy and that like a lot of people have just kind of put it down because it's too much and too often. I'm intrigued to give it a go. I've heard that there's a lot of sort of like mental health representation in these around sort of like public image and like the pressures and things like that, and I think it's one of those where it's like there's no openly gay ice hockey players, so he's like really nervous for his image to be sort of like changed. I'm really looking forward to giving this one a go. So this is going to be our 4th and final book in this video, and I'm really hoping to continue on with the really amazing reads we've had so far. Let's jump straight into Game Changers, and I will be back this time with an update. I'm not just going to speed read this whole thing. I'm going to give it a go, and then I will give you some updates and some thoughts and feelings. Hello there. So I'll be back to you with an update on this book soon. I have just finished chapter 5, which is, you know, page 62, and I can see why people say this is spicy. I see it. I see it. I get it. This is spicy. Literally 60 pages in, and they're already at it, and it's detailed. Do you know when people say, like, you know, slow burns and glances across the room? Nope. Straight in there. I am enjoying it. It is kind of sweet. Like, Kip works at the juice bar, and Scott just sort of comes in one day literally for a smoothie, and like there they are thinking each other's cute, getting all like excitable in secret. And it is, I can see why people like this. Like, the writing style is nice. I was surprised by the fact that this is in third person. I don't really like third person as a rule. I have read some books in third person that I really enjoy, but as a rule I like a first person perspective, like first person dual POV. It's all in third person, and it just sort of jumps between them mid chapters and stuff, so that's taking a little bit of getting used to, but I'm looking forward to getting further into this and reading more about it. I'm gonna keep reading and I'll get back to you with a proper update. I just wanted to express how quickly we get to the spice in this one. There is no slow build up. They are on it. I'll see you later with an update. We're having a bit of a crazy hair day today, but to be honest, we're just gonna ignore that and move on. So I'm back with a bit of an update for Game Changer. I am on page 181, which is chapter 15. So I would say I'm like just before halfway through this book. And you know what? I am enjoying this one so far. I can see what's sort of starting to unfold, and I am enjoying it. I can see what people mean when they say that this book is just too spicy. It is happening all the time. Like, every other chapter there is a scene, and don't get me wrong, all the spicy scenes in this are really fun, and like they're all a little bit different, so it's not just the same thing, but there is just a hell of a lot of it. So this book is following our two characters. Now, our main character Scott is the captain of the big New York City ice hockey team, and he is closeted. He is very honest about the fact that he is closeted. He doesn't usually like meet people in Manhattan. He usually goes to like places in Europe to sort of pick up guys and all that sort of stuff. Like, he isn't openly gay. None of the team know, none of his friends, none of his family, not even his best friend knows that he's gay. When he meets Kip at the sort of like juice bar, it's Straw and Berry, which I think is a really cute name. It's like straw plus sign berry, but the shop's called Straw and Berry, and I just think that's so cute. When he meets Kip at the smoothie bar, he is very like immediately sort of taken aback by him. He can see this cute guy, he really likes it and really wants to sort of like go for it, and is quite forward with this one. But then when Kip goes round to his house, he is very open with the fact that like he is secretly gay, nobody knows, and he needs it to stay that way. It'll have a really big impact on his image, and we sort of see their relationship develop from it just being sort of this like casual hookup to them both being really interested and falling quite quickly. That's sort of where we're at the minute. There's been a couple of events that they have both been to, and obviously like there's them longing gazes across the room and all that sort of stuff, but you can see where it's starting to bother both characters about them not openly being able to be together and things. I am enjoying this one. I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would with the level of spice that there is, because I was even starting to get to the point where I'm like, okay, we get it. But you just have to kind of accept that and move on, and then like the rest of the story and all the underlying other stuff, and like it is a really lovely romance. I can see that there is definitely going to be some issues regarding Kip being a secret and Kip not wanting to be a secret anymore. All in all, I'm really enjoying this one so far. It's not giving me like the 5-star feels or anything like that, but I am definitely still enjoying it. I'm gonna stop babbling on at you. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm excited to see sort of like the fallout. I'm assuming the word's gonna get out sort of thing. I'm assuming that the rumours are gonna start, they're gonna get caught. I've got all the feels for those sort of vibes, so I'm gonna get straight back into reading, and I will be back to you when I have some things to report or when I have finished this here book. So I'm gonna get back to reading. Let's go. Oh, I can't cope. This is so cute. I have literally just finished this book and I am obsessed. I understand the hype. I am here. I am with you all. I get it. I have only finished the first book. I immediately want to jump in and read the rest of them because this was just incredible, and I can see this very quickly taking over my life. Unfortunately for me, I have other videos I need to film that require reading other books, so I can't just keep reading this entire series back to back, which breaks my heart. With that said, I absolutely loved this book. I think it was incredible. For those of you who stopped reading this because of the spice level, please just try and like push through it, or like just sort of skim through it if it really isn't your thing, because the message in this book and like rest of the story is just incredible. And like the topics that are discussed, the development of the characters, the way it all gets resolved, it is so nice. Like I was actually like giggling and kicking my feet, and like it is a really emotional book. Like I can see why people were being so emotional and getting so upset, well, not necessarily upset, but like happy tears about this book, because the ending of it is just so sweet. Like it is just incredible. So I'm gonna have to try really hard to get my other books finished as soon as possible so that I can continue with this series, because it is all I want to do. It's all I want to read. I just want to continue on with these books. I want to see what else we get. We have met Rozanoff in this book, Ilya Rozanoff. We've met him in this one, which is one of the main characters in book 2, and I am just obsessed. I am obsessed. I love a sport romance anyway, but like the message behind this one is just, it's so sweet. It is just so sweet, and I highly recommend giving this book a go. It is ridiculously spicy. It is very frequent. It is like that throughout a lot of the book. I enjoyed the spice. I think it's nice. I enjoyed it, but like I get why a lot of people had stopped reading it for that reason, but the rest of this story and the rest of the messages are just so good. Oh, I just love it. I just love it so much. I can't decide on a rating for this one. I don't want to rate it 5 stars. I don't feel like it's giving me the 5-star vibes that the rest, or like other books I've rated 5 stars has given me. 5 stars is definitely a feeling, and I don't think this is it, but it is so close. It is so close. So I think I'm going to settle on a 4.5, which I think is what I've rated pretty much every book I've read in this video. This video has been one of my highest rated vlogs ever. It's crazy. I'm just trying to find my list. Yeah, like the lowest I've rated a book in this video is 4 stars, and I've read 4 books, so that is crazy. I recommend this book. Read it, please. A successful reading vlog, if you ask me. I have read some lovely, lovely romances in this vlog, which is exactly what I wanted. I just wanted a week of reading romances that were fun, easy, meaningful messages, but I weren't really feeling like the whole fantasy vibes. The rest of the books I'm going to be reading in this month are quite fantasy heavy, so I really wanted a week leading up to Valentine's Day of just reading some fun, easy, flirty books, and that is exactly what I've done. Don't get me wrong, there's some really dark topics in a lot of these books, but all of them have just hit the spot exactly how I wanted them to. I loved filming this video so much. I've had some amazing reads. I've had such a fun time. I've had the best week of reading, and I just can't wait to continue on with an amazing week of reading. I just think I've had such a good time. I have loved every single book we've picked up together in this video, and honestly, I just want to continue reading romance now. It's going to be really hard to put some romance down and pick up some fantasy, which is what I need to do next, but I've just had the best week. It's been such a fun reading week. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, my social media, my Amazon, my Goodreads and my business email are all in the description bar below. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope you're well. Take care. Bye.